I use Lyft's new stay within area filter for sessions of 4 hours and 8 hours straight to achieve an earnings guarantee they offered me recently. And the amount they had to bonus me was $250 on only 36 rides, an average of $7 per ride. Let's discuss. So Lyft recently added their stay within area filter to the driver app. You can set the radius you want to stay in, and you will only get rides within that area. Both the pickup and drop-off locations stay within that radius. The smallest radius you can choose is 5 miles, and it'd actually be great if they could reduce it down to 2 or 3 miles. It would cover just the downtown areas, at least in my market. I'm not going to complain though, it's still a great feature. Alright, so the week of October 17th, Lyft offered me an earnings guarantee of $475 if I gave 36 rides. And this included only ride earnings. It didn't include tips or streak bonuses. And ideally, with earnings guarantees, you would love to just give all minimum fare rides in order to maximize the guarantee payout. So I knew the new stay within area filter, I would utilize that. To what extent though, I had no idea. I had yet to use the stay within area filter, so I did not know what to expect. I didn't know how many rides I would get. I didn't know how long, what the duration before I would be timed out of stay within area. With the destination filter, it typically times out about an hour after I've been in destination mode. But my plan on Monday of that week was to use that stay within area filter right around the rush hour period, and I wanted to be near downtown Minneapolis. Around 2:45 that afternoon, I was near downtown Minneapolis. I decided to set the filter. I set the radius to the minimum amount of 5 miles. Right after I set it, I almost immediately received a ride request. That request brought me from the outskirts of downtown Minneapolis to basically the middle of downtown Minneapolis. I was really happy with the initial result. But after dropping that passenger off, I proceeded to wait nearly an hour before my next request. I was starting to get really impatient, and then sure enough, the request came. I was then peppered with back-to-back requests for nearly 2.5 hours, and my area preference was set for that entire time. It never timed out. I was shocked. It was awesome. I gave 9 rides during that time, and 7 of them were minimum fare rides. The stay within area filter never timed out in over a 4-hour period. I ended up just exiting it manually at the end of my day, entering destination mode just to get rides towards my home. Again, I was surprised that in over a 4-hour period, the stay within area filter stayed on. It never timed out. So I thought to myself, how long conceivably could I have the filter set before it would time out? I was going to chance that the next day on Tuesday. So with the filter, you need to be physically at the center of wherever you want to set your radius. Tuesday morning, I decided to drive a few miles and center myself between Minneapolis and St. Paul. I again set the stay within area filter to the minimum radius of 5 miles and logged in at about 9:15. I didn't receive a request for about 30 minutes to start the day. I then became impatient again, and sure enough, my first request came. After that, I ended up driving with the stay within area filter set for 8 straight hours. It never timed out. I gave 12 rides during that time. 8 of them were minimum fare rides, and my longest ride was only 5.7 miles. Again, the earnings guarantee was $475 for 36 rides, and I earned only $225.54 on ride earnings alone on those 36 rides. So Lyft had to bonus me $249.46 to reach the $475 earnings guarantee. And again, that $225 was in ride earnings alone. It didn't include tips or streak bonuses. My tips were $46.46, and I earned 2 $15 streak bonuses for a total of $551.36 for those 2 days. And they do have this cool See Bonus Details link now, and it explains to you exactly how the bonus amount for the earnings guarantee was achieved. Also, I was online for nearly 19 hours and booked for only half of those hours. So my earnings were right around $30 per hour, which is pretty standard hourly earnings when I drive for Uber. But during those 2 days, I only had to drive 225 miles. With Uber, in order to attain that $30 per hour, I would have had to drive double that amount of miles. So this was a great experience for me personally. I used the new stay within area filter to attain an earnings guarantee, and nearly 75% of my rides when I had the filter set were minimum fare rides. I don't see how much longer Lyft will allow this to happen, or how long they'll allow that stay within area filter to be set. I can imagine they'll put a duration on it here eventually, and I can also see them moving away from these earnings guarantees completely, especially with the rollout of upfront pricing for drivers. Again, this was a great experience for me personally, but I did probably get in while the getting was good. What about all of you? Have you been offered these earnings guarantees? Have you used the stay within area filter to attain a guarantee? What do you think of the stay within area filter in general? Also, just be sure to check the Lyft app weekly to see what they're offering. They never sent me an email about this guarantee. I just randomly looked at the driver app and saw that it was there. Thanks again for watching. Please like, comment, or subscribe, and drive safe. Thanks.